All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA Show. So what I want to get into today is helping guys actually take things to a very elite level when it comes to fitness. A lot of times if you watch my YouTube channel or listen to some of my podcasts, for the most part, I just want people to work out or just stay healthy in general. You don't necessarily have to work out. But in this case, or in this podcast, what I want to talk about is something that I was helping somebody this last week with, and that is taking things to the highest level regarding what they want to accomplish. And, if you want to be superior or elite, you're going to really have to put, obviously, a lot of time and effort into what you're doing, whatever type of exercise or whatever type of sport you're playing, but also look at things as if you are a professional athlete. Even though most likely you're not going to become a professional athlete, nor are you going to compete against other people that are professional athletes. Maybe in the future you may. I can't say that. I don't know what position in life you are right now. I don't know if you're listening to this in your high school, junior high, college. I don't know. But I would say for the most part, most people listening to me are going to be either somebody who's been working out for a certain amount of time that is looking to take things to the next level, right? Hold on, let me get some water here. So, for instance, we were working on improving the golf game. And I get hit up lately a lot regarding people wanting help in many different areas of fitness. And I'm not here to tell you I'm a trainer. But I could just tell you that when I wanted to get big and strong, I mentally started to prepare myself as if I was going to become a professional bodybuilder, even though for the most part I knew 99% chance I wasn't interested. And I'll just tell you why. One is I was afraid of steroids. And going in and out of Florida throughout my life, I knew, truthfully, to become an elite bodybuilder, even powerlifter, there was a lot of things that you had to take to get beyond or make a living at it or really make your mark. That would go for even professional wrestlers that I was around that I would work out with inside of my gym. I knew, for the most part, most likely you're going to have to get on juice, growth hormone, different things. Now, maybe if you were born a monster, which I wasn't, I was actually quite the opposite. So maybe if you are born naturally in your 6'7", in your 300 pounds, that's a whole different type of thing. But most people don't look like that. So I knew I was going that route. I also knew I didn't want to become a professional or a power lifter. I hung out with one of the top power lifters in the country. And between bodybuilding and powerlifting, I just see no money in it. And I was kind of somebody who grew up with some wealthy family members, some broke family members, and I just wanted to make money. And a lot of guys I knew that were bodybuilders, let's say they were trainers, they spent a lot of money on food. They spent a lot of money on drugs and partying. I'm not going to bullshit there. Steroids, a certain lifestyle, and most of them didn't have much. So that part, I was kind of like, And I also have a huge scar on my stomach. So even when I get abs, it looks distorted. So I knew as far as me getting on stage, I also just didn't want to be around a lot of naked dudes in, or not naked necessarily, but just going on stage and posing just wasn't my thing. Okay, so put that aside. If you want to be someone who's elite, and I'll just use golf again, I think you can start learning things to take yourself to the highest level. How you're going to do that is, one, put a lot more time and effort into it besides just working out or playing golf and doing drills. Again, back to me, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with bodybuilding and everything, I tried to get my hands on every tape I could, watch all different things, read tons of magazines, talk to a lot of these guys who were professional bodybuilders and non-professional, work out with them, try different style workouts, even supplements, all these things. I think a lot of people, when say you want to become better at golf again, most likely you're just going to think, I got to play a ton of golf, which of course you're going to improve. I'm going to work out a certain way. I'm going to get in better shape. That's all great, right? I get it 100%. But what is the added things that you're going to do? The splashes of things that nobody else is doing that's going to take you to the next level. Because let's face it, after a while, after you play, I don't care if you play 18 holes of golf a day or X amount of holes per week. You go to the driving range or you putt so many times, you plateau. I don't care who the hell you are, most likely. Now, if you do this for a living, that's a whole different thing. If you're going to start golfing for 8 to 12 hours a day, you are definitely going to start seeing improvements like you've never seen before, especially probably in, I think, like the second and third year, once you really start building up that confidence and really get that consistency going. And, that's a whole different thing. But for the average person out there who is working, running a business, whatever, and trying to improve their golf game, only able to play maybe certain times of the year, right? It's going to be a lot more difficult. But there are a lot of things you can do to improve. One is, and I talk about this, is doing videos of yourself. Just like if you were an athlete, you'd be watching footage of yourself playing or practicing or even playing against others. I don't care what sport is out there now. I can assure you most athletes, college, even probably high school, and professional, I don't care what sport it is, they're watching footage of themselves. They're seeing what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and they're also watching others that are even more superior than them. And I also talk about a lot of times too is, say a lot of golfers, or I'm just using this for an example, they want to be like somebody who's a top-rated golfer in the world. And a lot of them want to go and emulate that person, right? And kind of learn the way they're, doing everything, every type of stroke, how they putt, how they drive, all these things, which is great. But a lot of times what people are missing is you're not that person. You're not maybe as tall as that person. You're not as short as that person. You're not as strong as that person. You may have a totally different lifestyle than that person. What I would recommend is taking, things from that person and kind of, trying them out. But what we really need to do is learn what works perfectly for you, or at least set you on the right route. And back to people not, really realizing that, I should say the best athletes are ones that grab little things from everyone else and uses them to their advantage, but create their own identity. That's what's going to break you out, I think, and make you more superior. And back to just different things, and I'll just use, again, golf. Like if I was going to start golfing again, what I would do immediately is, besides, like I was saying, drills and all that, I would be learning different workouts. So, for instance, I was hearing yesterday about a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL are doing, or they're very good at golf, some of them. And I was thinking about, and I heard something too, that the way they kind of do a lot of their routines or drills, throwing the ball, maneuvering their hips and all this, was building strength and power within their, their driving, when they're driving the ball in golf. Also, just the way they work their footing, a lot of different things. So I would first of all start to think, let's kind of get outside the box here and say, let's not just work out on my off days besides play golf, right? I'm going to get fit. I'm going to build some muscularity. And then what? How am I really going to take things to the next level? And also what I have to think about is, are my workouts helping me improve? Because a lot of people don't realize when they're doing something, they are working out and it's actually limiting their skill set. I learned that from Laird Hamilton, the surfer. And what he used to say is he was doing like bodybuilding or just different types of leg workouts, I should say. And then he'd go surf and his legs were destroyed. So he's a professional surfer. He can't do that. He had to create exercises or different types of strength or work in different types of strength. So every time he went to surf, it made him stronger and better, more balanced. Not where he went there and he was sore, more fatigued. Because if he blew it, say surfing, and he surfed giant waves, 40, 50, 60 feet, he can die. Say he's swimming and his legs are fatigued, he can drown. So I know that's a little extreme, but when you're doing things, it's not just about the here and now, it's the next day. Everything you're doing to your body physically and mentally, is it preparing you to be better the next day? Are you evolving into the next day? All these things you have to think about. And also, and I've discussed this before, when I look at fitness or improving on something, I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, or whatever, I look at things in decades. Now, I know that may sound crazy, but I'm going to tell you right now, years fly by. And I'm not saying like wait a decade to try to get better in golf. Let's put it that way. But what I am saying is I'm looking at it like the next 10 years, where not even where I want to end up, because I have no idea where I'm going to end up, but I'm going to start a journey that I'm going to be heading that way. And I don't plan on stopping for at least that amount of time. I also expect to be really beyond where I'm at that point in time, right? Or maintain what I have if it's a health type thing. But I also believe in, and I'll just use golf for an example because I just wrote a program up regarding this, is, like if I want to drive the ball further, let's just say for instance, I look at it and saying, hey, I don't in 6 months need to hit the ball 50 yards further, right? Especially if it's not consistent. All I'm really looking at is being very consistent and going 10 more yards, say 3 to 6 months. Or actually it could be, say I want to go 5 or 10 yards in a month or two, I should say. Then in maybe a couple more months, 5 or 10 more. Hopefully, by the end of the year, I could be 40, 50 yards further than where I started, but I'm consistent. And say I'm not getting there to a certain degree, that kind of gives me an idea of what I'm doing wrong, right? A lot of fitness or a lot of things, it's not just always about what you're doing right. I discuss this a lot. It's really a lot of things that you're doing wrong. And back to videotaping yourself or even taking photos, taking a journal, in golf especially, because I golfed for years. I'm not here to say I was a great golfer by any means. I even ended up moving on one of the longest golf courses in the country. What was funny is I moved there so my family members, friends, and all of us could play golf. I had a child. She ended up being ill. I ended up never golfing except with my cousin and my uncle. One time I shot 36 holes, which was really fun. But it's interesting. I moved on a golf course to probably, in my mind, to start playing golf, and I never ended up doing it and never have since. But I learned in the couple years I was playing, I was a lot bigger and stronger. And I'm kind of one of those who I get lost in I guess you could say, the craft of something. And we were starting to play golf a lot, my friends. I was driving very well, around 300 yards, pretty consistent. We were having a lot of fun, but I wasn't a drinker. So I realized with a lot of my friends or people or even colleagues or people we'd work with, we'd go. And I was heavy, but I was in really good shape. I was very strong. I always worked out. And I can tell how fatigued I used to get, especially in the Florida sun. And, a lot of them would drink throughout the day. I also noticed a lot smoked, even if it was a cigar. I also realized a lot of them would, at lunch, after 9 holes, they would drink again or eat a lot of food. I was eating a lot of food as well. But I just had a different type of endurance, even though I was heavy. I also, from working out for many, many years, never really got sore at that point in time. And this is my mid-20s and early 20s, just so, I'm not obviously in my 50s at this point in time. But I also realized, like, if guys played golf all weekend, or even if we did a tournament or something, everyone else, even if they were younger, were shot for the rest of the week physically. I also noticed as the game went on how, everybody was tightening up and actually, like, just falling apart to a certain degree. I was kind of somebody, just like when I work out, I was getting stronger and better. And I also, we'd goof around. I didn't get caught up in a lot of the jargon or the bullshit going on. A lot of guys I know would get together to golf, to talk business, and do all these things, which is great. Do whatever the hell you want. But I realized before you know it, they were more involved with the discussion than the game itself. So these were just some things that I'm talking about, and I just wanted to address. But if you really are thinking about taking things to the next level, regardless what it is, really start focusing in on what you want to do, obviously, but also take things slowly. And I think you can definitely get there. Don't always rush. I call myself the sloth, but I can assure you I legitimately am the turtle who I'm going to finish the race, probably most likely. And one of the things I think that helped me more than anything in life is I look at it as a lifetime journey. And I love the experience, and I love learning, and I understand failing. That's the one thing I will say that why I quit golf. I started to get pretty decent in it, but I couldn't keep improving. And this was one of my cop-outs in life, and a lot of people don't like to talk about where they quit or whatever. I was getting aggravated because I wanted to become more and more elite. And I was very fortunate throughout my life because a lot of sports I would do really well and excel and keep excelling. But with golf, it was very hard, and I found myself getting very frustrated and very bored after a certain amount of time. That was just me. But I will say it was very hard because it is such a complicated game. And it's what I love about it. It was just me versus myself. No one else. I don't care if I'm in a foursome. I don't care if I'm in a threesome, a twosome. I don't care if I'm out there by myself, even driving the ball. I don't care if I play miniature golf. I don't care what it is. It's me and the ball. It's me literally first, that ball getting it inside that hole. There are no excuses. And, just, I guess you could say after a certain amount of time, I kind of, like a lot of people I think who play golf or many things, again, I plateaued and I couldn't get past it. At that point in time, I didn't really know how to go beyond except let's play golf every day. And I wasn't really interested in it to that level. And I think what happens too with a lot of people, I will wrap it up with this, that do play golf constantly, even if you love it. One is you got to understand you got to be able to afford it. Two is it takes a lot of time out of your day. So, really, a lot of time. So, I just wasn't willing to put that time in as well. So, I'm going to wrap it up there. You got any questions or comments, let me know. What else? You can find out who I am, richcelenza.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I want to thank everyone for all the comments. And I've been getting a lot of texts, emails, Facebook Messenger, people reaching out to me all over the place. And listen, I love helping anybody. Please hit me with something, and I'll try to give you my opinion regarding certain things. I may be wrong. I may be right, but you never know. I may tell you something that you may have never thought of before. And, that's all. I like helping people. All right, take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.